We are live. We're just letting Instagram and Facebook and YouTube all sync up and let everybody know that we're live. So give us like 2 minutes and we should have everything up and going for you guys. I'm so glad you're here and you joined. Yes, yes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's share our stream. All right. And I've got to get my co-star in here on Instagram too. Hey, hey. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are live. Appreciate your patience, guys, as we get everybody synced up. Nice, nice. Go ahead and share this stream out with people. Make sure everyone knows to be on here. We're very excited to have you guys today. We have a real treat. We have such a really good treat, right? So we are streaming and have a special guest. But before I do that, my name is Dominique Willis, and hopefully you can hear me really, really well. I really, really hope so. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can, or in your video if you can. Let me know you can hear me. And I am the co-founder. Yes, thank you. Hey, hey. I am the co-founder of For the Culture Global and a CEO partner of the CEO Movement. And so I'm excited to share with you today because we're going to have a very special guest all the way from Birmingham, UK, right here on us. We have a 7-hour difference between the two of us, and we're having a really great conversation. It's really important, guys, in this time of life, right? Most of us have lived through a lot of things, right? 9/11, current war, right? A global pandemic, an economic housing crash. We got a lot of things happen, and all we really needed to do is be educated. And so I'm excited that we now live in a digital age where I can bring you some education right here online. And let me jump over here and make sure I can see all of you guys. Perfect. Yes, yes. Let's go. Get that off. Thank you all for letting me know what's happening here on our technical side. Let's go like this. Let's pause this so we can all hear everything really clearly, because I want to make sure that you don't miss anything. I'm about to bring my guests into the room. Let me just get them also in the room on Instagram so that all you guys over here get to see as well. But we're live, guys. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook, on my personal page, Dominique Willis. We're live on the For the Culture Global page. We are live on YouTube. So come on and find us. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. There we go. All right. We've got our guest getting loaded up. But we're talking about how we're in a digital space, right? And so we can provide you with a digital education. Hey, Nakinda. Hey, Jadia. Hey, Flo. Hey, Queen. Awesome. Welcome to the call, family. Welcome to the call. So we're in a digital space. We can provide a digital education. And I wanted to make sure that, Dominique Willis from Bermuda. I don't know how old I am, y'all. I'm 30 something. You just got to forget after you get past 30. I don't know how I am, but I'm a mom of 3, soon to be 4. Hey, hey. Growing in the belly at the moment. And a wife. And I was and sort of still am a professional dancer, but most importantly, I consider myself an educator in all things, right? So whether it's dance education, right? Whether it is what we're talking about today, investment education, it is important that we make sure that we are sharing that knowledge with the next generation. And we are probably the first generation, right, outside of slavery, right, in the United States, who have the opportunity to make sure that we can really change some things and pull some people into the future with us. And so I've got an amazing guest. I'm so excited that he's here. I can't even I can't wait till he gets onto the screen with you guys. I'm going to get him on Instagram. I got to get him on Instagram because I need you guys to all see him too. And Mr. Special Guest, make sure you join our Instagram feed so I can pull you in over there as well, because we definitely do not want the people that are streaming with us on IG to miss out as well. Hold on, let's see. And while he's doing that, guys, so this is my very first time. I hope y'all are very proud of me. It's my very first time using multiple applications at once. And so this is just an important piece of, being in the digital age, right? That we're able to now do things like this. Dominique is able to stream to you via Instagram, via Facebook, both multiple Facebook platforms, right? YouTube, pull in special guests, right? My guest today, like I said, is in Birmingham, UK. He's 7 hours ahead of me, and we're able to connect like this. And that's where all of the digital space, right? And we won't go into, too much on the cryptocurrency space and blockchain technology, but that's where we're going, right into the metaverse. And so I invite you guys and I welcome you guys to, the first stage of what the metaverse is this conversation that we're having right here. So I'm excited that you're here. Hey, I see you. My guest has made it, y'all, into the IG land. He's made it into the IG land. So let's go ahead and pull him in. Now, before I get him on the screen with you guys, I need you to know that I need you to pay attention. So share this out. Let's turn this off so that we don't have multiple. There we go. Share this out as fast as you can to everybody, because I know those of you that are on Instagram already can see his face. This is Mr. Anthony Howe. He's a wealth revolutionary, right? Living in Birmingham, United Kingdom. He is an edutainer, as he likes to call himself. He is a high frequency machine. He's an educator. He is a wordsmith. He's a father, right? He's a husband. He's an all-around amazing person. And I wanted you guys to meet him today through me, because we're talking investment. We're talking about the power of partnership. We're talking about why now. And so let's go ahead and add him into our stream here, guys. You have got to get excited. Share. Comment, tag somebody, make sure that they are seeing this. And let's all welcome Mr. Anthony Howe. Mr. Howe on Earth to our stream.
Hey, Digital Dom. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Can everybody hear me out there all right? Can you hear me okay, Dom?
I can hear you really good.
Okay, fantastic. No feedback or anything like that? I don't want anybody to miss anything or
I don't have feedback. I'm checking in the chat on IG.
Hey, I see Flo's on Instagram. I see Flo. Hey, how you doing? Great to have you on the call. FC Nation, good to have you on the call. All right, we're looking good, Dom. We're looking good.
We're looking good.
Looking good on my side. Hey, I see Marky Marks in the building on Instagram. Got our family here on Facebook as well. Nice. Hey, Dom, you've done a great job. The studio looks amazing.
Thanks. Welcome to the studio. We're so glad you're here. So, Mr. Anthony Howe, take us back for those of you that don't know, or those of us on the stream who don't know who you are, because many of us do, right? And if you're active on Facebook, you kind of will get to know who you are. But tell us who you are, where you're from. Give us a little bit of your background.
So I am a father of 5, husband, the oldest child to Errol and Penny Howe, who came over to the UK from Jamaica when they were like 6 years old, for looking for a better life to provide for my grandparents sent them over for them to have more opportunities. And then, they got together and they wanted to create better opportunities for their children also. And my parents, they started off working jobs, and when they had more children, there was 4 of us all together. They wanted to have more freedom, more time freedom, so they decided to go into entrepreneurship, go into business, started their own travel business. And that's what really intrigued me, and opened up my understanding about the world and different ways to be able to make an income. And that's molded me into the person that I am today. So I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm an investor, financial literacy coach, a graduate of Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad University. I got multiple hats. You already mentioned quite a lot of them. So yeah, that's me really. That's who I am, and that's how I've come to be the man that I am today.
That's awesome. So, one thing that you didn't share that you may get into as we go through this conversation is your upbringing through school, right? So we're gonna have a conversation, guys, today. And if you're just joining us, we're gonna have a conversation about investing, right? And the way that we're taught traditionally, right, to obtain money. And so it's a conversation in our household, right, to make sure that we are very clear in the word choices that we have when we talk about like this. These are some of the ways. Here's one way to make money, here's another way to make money, so that we're not programming our children to think they have to do one specific thing. And so I know that you had a very different upbringing than most people, right, being very gifted and talented. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was raised in an area known as Winson Green. So in Birmingham, UK, there's an area called Winson Green, and Winson Green was recognized as one of the poorest areas in Europe, right? So that's where I was raised. I was raised on a road that's now known as Benefit Street. So in the US, you have something called welfare. In the UK, we call it benefits. I was raised on Welfare Street, right? The poorest road in the country, and so I was raised around deprivation. I was raised around a lot of crime, but I always challenged myself in terms of my education. I always excelled when it came to education. My parents seen this, and so they put me into private tuition, which afforded me the ability to get into a grammar school. Now, grammar school is like the home of the top 15% of intellectuals in the country. So I got into grammar school, and on my first day, I remember I was in the classroom and I asked the teacher, I put my hand up and I asked the teacher, I said, "Sir, where's the girls?" Like there was no girls in the classroom. I didn't know it was a boys' school. I just took one test, got into the school, and that was that. I realized that I was a part of an elite group. Being in this school, I was around politicians' sons, I was around millionaires' sons, footballers' sons. I was in this arena or environment that I wasn't used to. And from that point, I tried to work out like, what is my purpose? I was like, why am I out of all of because there's many talented people, in inner city areas. From my background, there's many who are smart and clever. Why is it that I am in this position? And so when I sought to work that out, kind of just asking God, like, why, I realized that my calling and my purpose was to kind of get the information from the wealthy and give it to the poor, trying to understand how they're able to live the life that they're living while the people that I was around weren't living so good. And so that was my exposure to another world of wealth and making money. So yeah, that was my upbringing. So raised in the inner city, raised around poverty, but then exposed to the world of wealth.
Exposure. That's what you just said, exposure. And I
Thank
think
you.
was really interesting too about what you said is that you took the test, right? You went to the school, and now you're learning a whole different way of life, right? A whole different how other people teach their children, right? You're there with politicians children, you're there with athletes children. And so for you, you just your parents gave you the test, you took it, you went right, and that was it. Not recognizing that you, because of your intellectual ability at a young age, were afforded the opportunity to be exposed to something that most other people were not.
Mm,
And so that's huge. If you're out there and you're listening, right, it's about the exposure. Now, Anthony was blessed enough, right, to be given these wonderful genes in the brain, right, to get that exposure. But we're living in a time where we can now provide that exposure. It's just a matter of knowing that it's there and how to do it, right? And so if you didn't grow up like Anthony Howe, right, you grew up on a small island like me, you probably didn't have that kind of exposure. But I know that we have something in common, right? so I'm Bermudian, but my mom is originally from the United States. And so I've always been exposed to travel. I've always been exposed to multiple cultures. My mom is from the United States, but her parents are Italian and Lebanese. They're immigrants, like they came over, their names etched in Ellis Island. So I always had the exposure of multiple different cultures within the country that I grew up in, and then multiple different cultures on the street that my grandma lived, right? Because there was an Irish family, an Italian family, there was people from all over the place. And so for me, I always had an appreciation of people because of that exposure, people and places and things, and more than what I was limited to in the 21 miles that my home, my entire country is fits into, right? So I think it's really important that we discuss this power of exposure. I see someone else can relate to that. There's an echo. All right, let me do that. Hopefully that helps y'all with the echo. I apologize. But when we're talking about exposure, right, that's really all that we need is a little bit of exposure. And recognizing that even though we're adults, we don't need to resist the exposure. In Anthony's experience, right, with school, he was a child, so he just did what he needed to do. They said, I need to go to this school. You're learning something different. You're learning how money is being made. You're learning how to run the businesses and the companies and how to have employees instead of be one, right? He was exposed to it with no questions asked. But a lot of times I think, and you can touch on this if you want to as well, but us as adults, we tend to resist the exposure that someone is giving us.
Right. Are you getting feedback on your side?
Yep, I got it just now, but I turned everything down, so hopefully we're good.
Okay. Maybe that was me. We should be good now. But yeah, that's the major key that you're saying right there, Dom. In terms of exposure, I was very fortunate in that sense where I was exposed to another world. My parents, the business that they started from home was a travel business. So we were traveling quite often. And that exposure to different cultures, exposure to different people, different characters, really helped me to see that the world where I was raised, the world was bigger than just this small area. And a lot of people suffer from that. Not many people have traveled outside of their block, outside of their city, outside of their country. And so they lack true perspective on the possibilities and options that are available to them. So I was fortunate in that sense, being traveled, being exposed to different things. And that's what enabled me to get access to information, get access to wisdom and opportunities that the average person wouldn't get access to. So I think, exposing, being a father of 5, one of my main things, right, when raising our children, one of the main things was we wanted to expose them to as many things as possible and see what they took to, right? So we want to, expose them to horse riding, expose them to motocross biking, expose them to all kind of activities to see what they naturally took to. And, I thank God for my parents. They did the same thing with me, exposed me to various different things. And when it came to, finances, when it came to education, when it came to leadership and accounting, that's where I kind of came alive. So I think it's very important that people expose themselves to different things, right? It's not just about exposing your children, but you got to be willing to expose yourself to information. You got to be willing to come out of your comfort zone. You got to be willing to learn new things, learn new skills, so you can broaden your horizons. So yeah, very key, Dominic. Very, very key. You've got to expose yourself to the world, right? That's what you got to do, so you can be able to recognize that a lot of people are caught up in their world thinking that this is the only thing that they can do. All right, they're thinking that the options that they have are slim. It's kind of like you're in a maze and you've got a wall to your right, a wall to your left, a wall in front of you. You need somebody that can guide you from a different perspective, somebody that's already gone that route, somebody that has an eagle-eyed view of your situation so they can guide you. I don't know if that's a good segue into your next question, but in terms of like getting mentorship and getting support is crucial in navigating life. Sometimes you can get with somebody who's been exposed to something that you've not been exposed to, So via them, you've been exposed. So some people may say, I don't have the finances or the resources to travel or expose myself to different things. Connect with somebody who has been exposed to different things so they can kind of give you an insight into the opportunities that are available for you. So yeah, I'll stop there before I go off on one.
Absolutely. And you know what? I had to tell myself to not go off on one too, because I heard you talking and I was like, ooh, let's talk about that. But you're right. We have time and we can always come back on here, guys. But that is a good segue. And so exposure is key. And part of what we want to talk about today is how we do that as a unit, right? And so I brought Anthony here, one, to expose all of you, right? All of you to the amazing unit that we have across the sea, right? In the UK. And so we have this person who has this experience, who has this, and you might be like, what experience? We're gonna talk about it. Okay. Who has this experience, who is able to help take you from where you are to where you want to go in the realms of investing. And so I did have one question when I was talking about, or we're listening to you about your background and your story and education and how you were brought up. Now, did you ever go the route of being an employee, or did you always jump into entrepreneurship since you had your family that way, your education was that way, or did you, say, hey, I think I want to just be an employee?
Yeah, I did go down that path of being an employee. Whenever I was an employee, whenever I got a job, I would always elevate to higher positions. I started off in catering. Catering was the first job that I had, right? But when I was catering, within a matter of months, I was promoted to duty manager within the company, and so I was always demonstrating sort of like leadership skills. I was always taking responsibility. I had the kind of perspective and oversight that other people didn't have, and so I was always getting into those positions where I could be able to kind of flex my muscle, had a bit more flexibility, and a bit more responsibility as well. So I held down those jobs for a few months, a year at the most, but always had that entrepreneurial desire inside of me. So I did like paper rounds. I did all kind of jobs. I was selling windows at one point. I was always doing something where I was in control of my income. I was in control of my hours. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I did the employee thing, but was always still entrepreneurial at the same time within that realm.
That sounds good. You know what I think is really great is that you touched on the fact that you had leadership skills and ability that you were exuding at your places of employment, which I think most people or a lot of people at times will think I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur because I don't like working for anyone else, right? And not because, I know that I exude the skills necessary to be an entrepreneur, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you don't just go, okay, I'm starting my own business and run it and then just go about your day, right? And think that it's going to be successful. You have to be able to be a successful employee, right? In order to be a successful entrepreneur. Now, I remember, I don't know, it's got to be maybe 8 years ago or so, maybe more than that. Some more, y'all. 8 or 9 years ago, where I first was exposed to, and I'm glad you said Robert Kiyosaki's program, because I was exposed to who he was, his teachings, his books, and it was the first time that it was made clear to me that there is a blueprint for how wealth and money is transferred. Now, I didn't know that, right? I knew a lot of things, but I never had a moment before that where I learned, hey, this is what an employee is, right? Here's an investor, here's a business owner, here's where the money is made. Would I have loved to have known that? Would I have loved to have gone to a school like you did? Yes. But for me and everyone else on this call, we're regular, okay? So we went to regular public school, right? But that is what drastically changed my perspective, because I always felt like I was a great student. I was always a great employee. I was always a good leader. I was always in leadership positions or had opportunities afforded to me because of that. And so I wanted to make sure that, excuse me, guys, that I, at that point in my learning, was understanding. We're going to just pull Anthony here as he gets his screen back up. That I was understanding where I was within the cash flow quadrant. And so, if you're familiar with the cash flow quadrant, right, it has 4 pieces to it, right? And most people start as an entrepreneur, right? Or I'm sorry, as an employee. Most people start as an employee. And so that's exactly where I was. And I remember reading and I remember learning and going, you know what? I'm going to figure out how at some point in my life to get to the investor side of the quadrant. So if you're not familiar with the quadrant, right, the investor side, right, that's where only 5% of people are. So everybody right now on Facebook and Instagram is an investor. They're not. Okay. Only 5% of the people live into the investor side of the quadrant. And some and at that point in time, I was an employee. And so I was like, okay, well, for me, I like a roadmap. So I was like, I'm going to be an employee. I'm going to go to the self-employed, right? I'm going to take myself to the big business owner. And eventually I'll get over to that investor side because 5% of the people are there and 95% of the wealth. And so I'm very, very blessed. I always say I'm very blessed because everyone always wonders how I got it. I'm blessed. I had people and mentors along the way, and I've always been an open person, probably because of my travels, right? And respect for other people and other things and cultures, that I have been able to do that. And so that brings me into this part of our conversation where we're discussing investment, right? And we're discussing the importance of knowing where you are in a cash flow quadrant kind of system, because that's where we all live, right? And how do you get yourself from an employee to self-employed to a big business owner, not like a small business that has lots, right? A big business owner, and then over to an investor where your money is now making money for you. And then the multiple tiers of investments, right, that come within that. I think everyone thinks that, oh, I'm an investor and I, have a property and it's, giving me a passive income. Fabulous. But there's so many tiers to investing. So if someone was new and they're listening to this stream, Anthony, how would you suggest they get themselves into investing if they're brand new and they have no experience?
Hey, now this is the part where I really come alive, Dom. Like this for me, like introducing people to the world of investing is what I do best. Because investing has done so much for me. It's transformed my life, and I don't like to hype things up. But genuinely, it has transformed my life. Taking myself from being an employee and placing myself and getting the necessary skills and information to become an investor is what enabled me to be able to tick off a lot of the dreams and goals that I had for my life, including, retiring my parents, retiring my wife, and so forth. It's all because of being an investor. And let me just touch on what you said about investors. People think that they're investors because, they've bought a bit of Bitcoin or they've put some money in Shiba or whatever they've put their money in, right? So they think they're investors. To be an investor, there's 3 things that you need. You need time, right? You need capital, and you also need education. You need education. You can't be a successful investor without those 3 key ingredients. And so if you've not done investing before and you're looking for ways to be able to get that, a great place to start would be to get some books. All right, the education element is extremely important. And the book that I recommend is a book by Robert Kiyosaki called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like, you have to read that book, right? Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Get that book, all right? If you've not got that book, you need that book, I mean, just hit me up on social media. I'll get the book for you. Like, it's essential that you read that book. And in that book, Robert Kiyosaki, he's written another book called Cash Flow Quadrant. And in Cash Flow Quadrant, he categorically says that if you've never done investing before, you want to go into the world of investing by getting into binary options, like binary option trading. And that may sound like something absolutely crazy, but you want to, this is what he says. He says, you want to look at the world of trading, all right? Binary options, foreign exchange market. That's what you want to do. Simply because of its simplicity, because of its safety, and because of its speed. All right. So when it comes to binary options trading, or what we call it in our community, we call it high frequency forex, or HFX. You may see this term being used a lot in our community, HFX, and it's a very simple way of multiplying your money. What you're basically doing is just predicting whether the value of a currency is going to go up or down before it happens. And so that's the I encourage people to get into investing. I came into investing by doing real estate investing. That's how I got in, and I got into real estate when I was in a situation where I had little money. I had the education because I had attended Robert Kiyosaki's university, so I had the education, but I didn't have the capital. But I had loads of time, and so I was able to get into real estate investing and make money in that space by connecting with people with money. And this may be a major key for somebody that's watching this right now. So listen very carefully, all right? I didn't have the capital, but I had the education and I had the time. I just connected with people who had the capital and no money, or sorry, little time and little education. You see, there's people out there that have got what you need in order for you to be able to do a deal. You've just got to network with them. You just got to connect with them. You got to go to the places where they are and let them know what you're doing. You have something to offer. You may not have the capital, but you may have the time and the education, the experience to be able to make things happen for both of you, right? For you and the person that you're speaking to. And that's exactly what I did. But looking back now, if I could change things, I would have gotten into the world of investing by doing the binary options trading, by doing HFX, by doing forex trading. That's what I would have done first, simply because when it comes to trading on the foreign exchange market, it's just you and the market, right? Whether you make money or not comes down to you, your skill, your time, your patience, your character. But when it comes to real estate investing, man, you've got the person who's buying, you've got the letting agents or the estate agents, right? You've got the solicitors and you've got the surveyors and you've got so many people involved in the deal being done that if one person doesn't do what they're supposed to do, the whole deal falls through. Where when you're doing foreign exchange, like I got no one else to blame but me. I got nobody else to pat on my back but me, right? And so it's a skill that when you learn it, nobody can take it away from you. You know, you've got a skill now that can pay you for the rest of your life, regardless of what's happening in the economy, regardless of what's going on, right? And that's the beautiful thing that I love about investing and trading within the foreign exchange market, is that it doesn't matter what's going on. We've got a serious situation happening right now out in Ukraine, with the war out there. Regardless of what's happening there, you can still be able to make money in the exchange markets. In fact, over these last 2 years, with the crisis that we've been going through, the pandemic, the rich have got seriously richer, right? They've got seriously richer because of the crisis that's going on. When there's a crisis, it's kind of predictable what's going to happen to the value of certain currencies, right? So yeah, that's what I would recommend for people that are brand new to investing. I would certainly recommend that you get Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Get yourself educated, all right? Create the time and get the capital. If you don't have those things, at least get the education, because the education can open up the door for you to be able to, get creative ideas to create time and capital.
That's good. And so I love what you said, and I hope people didn't miss it. So I'm going to reiterate it, right? You might have only a couple parts of this, right? You may only have time, right? You may only have the education. You may have one of the three. You may have two of the three. You might only have capital, right? You have no time and you have no education or anything of that sort. You have no time to be educated, right, on how to do it, but you have the money, right? Get with people, network with people, right? And so that brings us into the power of partnerships. Get with other people so that you can then create the life that you want out of the space. I'm huge now on passive income, but we'll save that for another live, right? I also got into, my husband and I also got into real estate investing. That's how we first got into, having some sort of like passive income. And it's been phenomenal. I mean, we've made X amount of dollars, over the course of our lifetime, because we did two things, right? Had a little bit of capital, tiny little bit of capital, some help with help. We had
Mm-hmm.
some time, right? And I, like I said before, I've always been, um, I'm a student always, right? I'll never forget that phrase. I've always been a student. And so when someone said to me, one of my mentors, hey, there's all this money in real estate, I said, well, let me go ahead and figure out what do I need to figure out, right? So I didn't become a real estate agent. A lot of people think you need to do that, right? I didn't be, let me go get a job and do this, that, or the other. No, I said, what do I need to know in order to invest my capital into this space? And so when it came to real estate, I said, I need to know the market, right? I need to know where houses are being sold and bought. I need to know the projections of the city that I want to be in. What are they going to do? So I thought thoroughly through what I would need to know in order to invest my money. Same goes with high frequency and binary options investing, right? So I also have done that as well, right? In cryptocurrency and all sorts of things. And so when binary options came into my life, right, it was the same kind of thing. What do I need to know to invest my money? Now, at that point, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real with you guys. At that point, I didn't even know much of anything. All right. I knew that I trusted the people who were around me who said, hey, this is where you want to go ahead and put some money into it, right? You want to go put some money into binary options trading, binary options investing every single day because it's going to yield you some results. I didn't need to know anything except that someone who I trusted told me that that's where it was, right? And if you needed a little bit more, the fact that it was in Robert Kiyosaki's book, which was the book that led me down this pathway, was enough for me to go, okay, let me go learn, right? Let me go learn how to do this. And so, how much time would you say it would take someone who's brand new, no experience at all, if they started into the binary options area, the high frequency area, to see some sort of results? Or do you have a blueprint or a wealth plan that you're currently working on?
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, when it comes to let me touch on the partnership thing, Dom. Let me touch on the partnership thing because if you don't have any of the three things that I mentioned, then the secret weapon is partnership, right? Getting help, connecting yourself with a community of people who have your best interest at heart. This is so key. Like that part right there at the end, a community of people who have your best interests at heart. You can get with communities that are doing certain projects, doing certain things, and they're really looking out for their own interests. But in a space that we're in, trading in the foreign exchange market, it's the largest financial market in the world. There's more than enough money to go around. Everybody can win all at the same time without anybody losing. And so when you connect with a community like ours within this space, you got people that are bending backwards to help you to win. All right. Some people would have seen on my story on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, how we just celebrated somebody, taking 4 figures and turning that into 5 figures over the period of 12 months and investing into his dream. We're able to celebrate other people because it's a thing where if they can do it, then so can I. It's an inspiration rather than competition. So I just wanted to just touch on that part there. The power of getting with people and going into partnership. And with that said, you can afford to dream. I always encourage people who approach me all the time. A few people approached me today saying, Anthony, I want to get involved. I need to get my money up. I need to get out of this job that I'm in. I need to do this. I need to do that. My thing is always, what do you want? What do you truly desire? All right. I mean, I've got a plan, I've got a system, I've got a wealth plan and a system that will help you to kind of double your time and double your time off, double your income in less than 12 months. I've got a system for that. But ultimately, it's not what my system does, it's what do you want? I want to build a system, I want to build a plan around you. So I always ask people, what do you truly desire? What do you truly want? And why, and I will probe them as to why they want what they want and what that looks like for them, what are the benefits, because people are only going to do what they want to do. We've been there, done, right? We've had students come for our program, join our team, and we want it for them more than they want it for themselves. All right. And then when something goes wrong, it's like they're blaming you for things not going right for them. It's like, hold on, how does that work? Right. And so I've learned that you've got to help people get what they want. You can't make it happen for them. They've got to want it for themselves. And so once we get a firm grip on that, once we know exactly what it is that someone wants, then we can map out what they need to do on a day by day basis. You kind of work backwards. You kind, like when you drive in on the sat nav, you will put in the destination first, and then the route is revealed on how to be able to get from where you are to that destination. And so when people tell us what they want, then we will, we'll sit down and say, all right, how much time have you got? How much education do you possess? And how much capital do you have, right? I'm saving three things again. And then based on what it is that you have, we'll work out a plan of for you to get to your destination. And in a general sense, the average person, Dom, to answer your question, the average person has, they've got to do an hour a day, all right, of studying, an hour a day of studying and implementing what it is that they've learned. You can get started with binary options with as little as $50, right? It doesn't take much. So you can get started with $50. And then in terms of education, is very, very basic education. So if you just do an hour a day, then typically within 3 months, the average person, the average student is getting themselves to a place where they're benefiting and they're profiting consistently in the markets. So yeah, that's what we recommend. That's how we go about helping people here within our movement.
I love it. And so the movement he's speaking of, right, is the CEO movement. And this is also another really great segue. So us here at For the Culture Global, we represent multiple different countries, but we're able to do that because we have partnered with the CEO movement. And so, we've been investment partners with this amazing group of people who connect us to people like Mr. Anthony Howe. And there are many others, which I'm sure will be on our stream at some point soon, right? But the CEO, that's right, the CEO movement. So it stands for Creating Entrepreneurs in Opulence. And for us, it's a matter of making sure that the partnerships that we have we're able to facilitate them to the people that we're connected to so that they can be successful. And it's that right there, right? It's making sure that whether you have enough time, education, or capital, that you have the secret weapon, you have the power of partnership. And so when you're partnered with myself, or when you're partnered with Anthony in the UK, you now are connected to a much larger global network, the CEO movement. And so that extends us to other places, right? Dominique and For the Culture Global is in the United States and Bermuda and a little bit in the UK and some of Asia. But when we start to put in, the network of the entire CEO movement, now we're looking at multiple countries in Africa. Now we're looking at multiple countries in Asia, multiple Caribbean countries, multiple states and cities in the United States. So now the global network has grown bigger. And so your partnerships and your resources become so much more vast at that point. And that means that you have more help and more power and more chances to be successful because you have more partnership, which is the secret weapon. And so we're excited to introduce this to you. We want to make sure that we come on here with you because we've been partners now for like 4 years, right? And I don't know if anyone on the stream has even known that, right? But we've been partners for a really long time. So, we're true to the game. Is what we like to say. We're true to the game. But the goal here, right, is to make sure that we assess and understand what you have and what you don't have and what your end goal is. So we can help put together the blueprint and the roadmap to get you from where you are to where you want to go. You were listening to my story a few minutes ago, right? I knew at that time I was an employee. I think I was like a low-level employee too, like y'all, like fast food. You know what I mean? Like I was an employee, like entry level, just coming into the game. And I knew I wanted to be an investor. I didn't know at the time that there were multiple levels of investment. But what I'm saying, all that to say is I've been through the entire quadrant, right? And I've been up the wealth actualization plan, that takes you through all the different levels of investment. And so we've been there, done that. We have our own personal experience and we've had to figure it out through our own education, right? Through our own mentorship. And so now we're providing that as a CEO movement and a collaboration with all of you guys across the globe in the multiple places that we are. We're providing that for everyone else. We're saying, hey, here's how we did it, right? We're normal. Like I said at the beginning, right? I'm regular. Right? It's a regular public school. Here's how we did it. here's how we did it. So we want to make sure that you know how to come into this space, and you don't necessarily have to make a decision like Anthony or myself did and figure out how to get some capital to get into the real estate game or into some of these other big investment games. Yes, those are part of the goal, but you can start with one of our programs, which is our high frequency program, and will help carry you through high frequency and foreign currency, whether it's trading or investing, cryptocurrency, right? Building a portfolio, but you have to start somewhere. Right? You have to start somewhere to go anywhere. And so the next time that Anthony is live, if you want to have a sneak peek, is this Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern. So we want to make sure that you guys, if you want to join us live, make sure that you check in with whoever shared this with you, right? Get with them and say, hey, I want to jump on live. I want to have a sneak peek of our live group trading session. Now, this is like basic beginner. I just got here and I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Now, it is a private session normally, right, for the people that we work with. So know that not everyone on there is beginner, right? Some of them have a little bit of experience and some of them are brand new to the program. Either way, what you're looking at, right, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed at all. It's very simple. It is very safe and it is very speedy, right? And safe, as I'm talking about this, we want to make sure that we understand that when you make it from an employee to self-employed to business owner to investor, everything that you do is risk capital. Okay. And so when I say safe, I mean safe for you to risk your capital, your risk capital. All right. Not your entire life savings, not your mortgage, not your, person's tuition, right? You're in a space where you're going to be learning. And so it's safe for you to learn. It's safe for you to be new. It's safe for you to feel uncomfortable, right? It's safe for you to have setbacks in the space because we're all here together. So if you want to join us live on Wednesday, Mr. Anthony Howe is facilitating that call live from Birmingham, UK, right? 8 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. UK. You have a sneak peek. Now, if you come, because I'm broadcasting, so I didn't ask him if I can broadcast. If you come, you need to be quiet. Okay? You need to just shh in the background, pay attention and listen. And ask questions in the chat if you want to, but know that the call is directed toward and facilitated for those people who are members already of the CEO movement. All right. So we're giving you a sneak peek into that. And so I think that's like huge. I hope that people take advantage of that. Is there anything you want to say or discuss?
I would highly recommend that you take advantage of this call. You're getting a kind of behind the scenes look at how it is that we do what we do, how we're positioning people to be able to experience financial freedom. You're getting a sneak peek behind the scenes on this call. You get to be a fly on the wall on this call. So just drop myself, Dominique, one of the team, a message, and we'll give you the link for that call. But I love these calls. You're going to see people that have just got started today, people that just got started, last week, last month, being able to multiply their money in the markets. It's a phenomenal experience, undeniable. You can even partake yourself, with a practice account. With all of this stuff we're going to equip you with, so you can experience money multiplying on your mobile device live in the markets with us. So yeah, definitely position yourself to be on that call tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 1 p.m. UK time. I see some of the team on Instagram right now. I see you, Ia and Flo. So yeah, it's going to be a great call tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that.
Amazing.
And Dom, let me just say something. Let me say something as well, Dom. I want to say thank you to you, right? I thank you to you for your skills, you and Dre, and the way that you serve the team is phenomenal. The way that you've helped us to be able to move into the digital space and take advantage of what's happening in cryptocurrency, it's perfect. So me doing what I'm doing, helping people grow their capital, and then you doing what you're doing, helping them to be able to invest that capital, multiply it, and create generational wealth. Man, we've really come together and created something beautiful. I want to thank you for you dedicating your time, your effort, your energy, your support. I know the team feel the same way too. Despite the fact you got like baby due like tomorrow or something like that, and you're still like working your socks off. And so we appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much, you and Dre. We love you guys, man. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And I think once you guys hop into this space, you'll really understand. And I bet you some of the people that we work with can really attest to this, right? It really is about the power of partnership. So, and I appreciate that because I wasn't going to have a digital currency conversation today, but that's where my that's my forte. Like, that's where my skills lie, right? And so Anthony's skills are in this high frequency area, and that's where I love for people to start, right? That's the way that our blueprint is set up so that you really can understand risk capital, risk management, compounding, account growth, setbacks, mindset growth. That you can understand what's really necessary for the mind and for the account, right? And for the skills, like what you're really going to need before you can transition into the other areas of wealth. And so cryptocurrency comes later. Okay. Cryptocurrency comes later. It just does. But we're doing some really amazing things. And if it was not for the power of the partnership that we have within the CEO movement, we wouldn't be able to facilitate all of these things for everyone that we work with. So I don't have to now go be a guru at high frequency, even though I think I'm pretty good, right? I don't have to do those things if I don't want to, and neither do you. Because what I'm saying to you is you have a leadership team in Mr. Anthony Howe and some of our others that we work with, other folk that we work with, to facilitate high frequency, foreign currency, digital currency, business, small or big business growth. Right, we have all of that within the movement for you. And so we're only talking about high frequency today because we want to make sure that you guys understand. Let's get you in the game, right? You need to be educated. You need to have the experience and the skills. You got to work on it, and you need the exposure. You need the exposure. But once you have it, you will get the transition over to digital currency, which is where you really need to be, right? You really need to get this exposure quickly, right? You need to be over into digital currency. You have got to prepare yourself for what's happening, everything that's happening globally, the pandemic, the multiple wars that are happening in Ukraine and Somalia and Syria, all of these things that are happening across the world is all just setting us up completely, right, for being in a metaverse. And it might seem weird to you, and it might seem like, okay, I don't know what this thing is, but it's here and it's coming, right? We're saying, I don't want to leave my country because, I could be sick. Of course, we're not traveling when there's wars happening across the world. I need to get money to someone over there. How do I do it? How do I see my grandma who is in Rome, right? I can do that and actually feel like I'm right there with her and experience it. How do I, if I have a pandemic, or I have a low immune system, if I have COVID or something like that, how do I get food here, right? I go right into the metaverse. I can order from Chipotle and they can come bring it to me. It'll deliver it to me at my house where I live right now, even though I went online into a virtual space in order to order it. So I say all that to say, guys, tap in, join in with us on Wednesday, get a sneak peek, get back with the person who shared this stream with you, or connect with Anthony or I to get a link for Wednesday. And if you're looking for partnership and you're looking for education and you're looking for exposure and you're looking for people who really want to see you win, then you've got to be here with us in the CEO movement. We'll help elevate you across all of the programs into whatever your goals might be. However, know that it's going to take time. And it's not for everybody. Well, it is for everyone. Not everybody can do it, because you have to be willing to grow, and you have to grow. And if you don't, you won't be successful. And we're very clear about that at the beginning. But we want to see you win. We've seen multiple people win in this space, including ourselves. And so we want to make sure we extend that to you. Tap in, go through the whole process, learn, be in the space, and be prepared for the digital wave that is coming in the future. So I want to say big thank you, guys, to Mr. Anthony Howe, CEO Anthony Howe, out there in Birmingham, UK. Amazing partner and facilitator of all things high frequency, all things, binary options. Just a wonderful person, fabulous father, a fabulous husband. We're excited to be your partner. We're grateful every single day that you're here. And thank you for tapping in with us. And thank you guys for joining us. Share this stream, share this after as it posts.
Appreciate you, Dom. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Drop us a line. Look forward to seeing you on the call tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. UK time. God bless, family. Nothing but love. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great one.
Jadia, thank you.